What's happening, everybody? Charlie G here, Charlie G's Cards. Just getting ready to do a little crossover reveal. I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes. Not quite 8 o'clock yet, or 11 o'clock East Coast. So, kicking back, watching a little soccer. That sounds like a pretty good day. Not much planned on my end either. Just some going through some cards today. Doing a little stuff around the house. Taking it easy. You know, that's what you do on the weekends. We'll see how many more people show up for the live reveal. Otherwise, this will be available on the channel for a replay later. See who else we get to come on in here. Or it's going to be the personal stream for Mr. With Cubby, which is also just fine by me. I did just book tickets to go to the Beckett card show in Las Vegas, September 10th and 11th. So that'll be exciting. What's up, Mr. Perry? I was just talking about Vegas, baby. We going to Vegas soon. See what kind of trouble I can get up there at the Beckett card show. What are you up to today, Mr. Perry? Is the audio coming in good? Just let me know. Or am I just sitting here talking to myself? Alright, thanks, Mr. Cubby. Appreciate that. Dad got a new hip. Well, hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Watching the doggo, buying a new vacuum, and the karaoke. Hey, it's, you know, it's the way it is, man. It's called being an adult sometimes. Can't all be fun and exciting. Well, hopefully we can get a little bit of fun and exciting reveal action here. See what we did for science. What's up, Mr. KVS? Just getting ready to crack open these boxes and see what I've done. Probably the results of this will be I spent too much money to get this done, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so let's go. We'll go ahead and get started. This is life as I envisioned it as a kid. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I like a simple life, so I'm not that concerned about about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, got ourselves a little PSA reveal here. It's a crossover reveal. It's going to be 8 total cards for various manufacturers. Hopefully, I guessed correctly that they would cross over with the minimum grades I gave. Otherwise, we're going to be otherwise we're going to look at some old slabs, but that's okay. We'll see what happens. Is that Bubblehead your new luck mascot? Yes, it is. That's my little cubby bobblehead I picked up at the Nationals. One of those things I didn't know I had to have until I saw it, and then I had to have it, and he came home with me. So we're going to start off with this one. I know what this card is because for whatever reason when I sent in this order, PSA sent me a note after they finally opened it after like 1,000 months that this particular card had to be broken out and graded separately, so separate shipping and all this other stuff, which was kind of disappointing. I don't know why this one had to go separately, but for whatever reason. So what's inside of this should be a 1909 Colton Chips Diamond Jake Fister card. It was an SGC 8, and I'm doing the Colton Chips collection, so I wanted them all to be in PSA holders. So let's see what this one is. Finish cutting this open here. As long as I don't cut myself live on camera, that would be good. Alright. And the result is not good. The result is not good. One card inside. Did not meet minimum grade. So this was the card. It was an SGC 888, and the old flip. And I thought it was actually a very nice example. Very centered. Usually the back of these is super off center. So I requested a minimum crossover grade of an 8. But for some reason, PSA and their new regime did not think it was a PSA 8. So we're not off to a good start, sports fans. Not off to a good start. So the next one will have 7 cards in it. This will range from, I've got some 75 minis in here. I've got 87 Topps Traded Tiffany. I've got a 89 Donruss Ken Griffey Jr. And I do have a 61 Mickey Mantle in here. So hopefully we have better results out of this package. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Mr. Jake over here. Him not coming back as PSA because I need him for my Colton Chips collection. It looks like we've got maybe a mixed bag here. I'm not sure. Well, it's not looking promising to start off with. I may have just wasted a bunch of money. Yeah, it looks like I might have just wasted a bunch of money here, guys. This is a little disappointing. I think PSA is gonna make me not happy. So up first, we have what is a pretty nice SGC 8, the new flip mini. As you guys know, I've got a lot of minis graded PSA 8s, 9s, and 10s. And to me, looking through this case, it shouldn't have had any problem getting an 8. Oop, of course, now the focus decided to go all to shit. There it goes. But as PSA 8s go, this is... I've seen 9s that look like this. But PSA again decided that it did not meet the minimum grade of 8 is what I requested for this guy. And up next, same deal. This is an SGC Old Flip 96.9. Looking through the case, I know it's a little far off left to right, but there's plenty of 9s that I have in my collection that are left to right that far off. And the reason the Rhine was a little less does have a couple little print dots on it. But again, PSA decided this wasn't going to meet minimum grade. I almost wonder if PSA even bothered to look at these and they just pumped them through and said, yeah, we're just not going to cross over any of these. Same story for Mr. Willie Stargell. This is SJC 96.9. Really nice example. No print dots, really well centered. Much better example of the last card. But for some reason, again, did not meet the minimum grade. Yeah, this is not looking good. Not looking good. Mickey Mantle. 1961 Mantle. SGC 5.5. Now I thought this could be a 5. I didn't think it would go to 6, so I put it as a minimum grade 5. You know what happens, Alex, you know? I mean, it's a really good example. And again, minimum grade is 5. This one doesn't surprise me. This is the one I thought wouldn't come back in a new slab. I picked this up for like next to nothing. It's the Tiffany Greg Maddox. There it is. For the GMA holder. I did not expect this to come back to 10. I actually expected it to come back at 8. It's actually pretty well centered. It's a little bit off both directions. If I remember right, there's a little print dot on it somewhere. But a Tiffany in the GMA case, for whatever reason, didn't meet minimum grade. Well, that's why I paid next to nothing for it, because it was a GMA case is 10, and it definitely wasn't a 10. And then we've got a mini in a GAI holder. Back with these great. This is actually a hard card to find. This is actually really nice shape. I thought it might have a shot at a 9, but I did ask for a minimum grade of 8. Again, I have a lot of these 75 minis. I want to say I've got a pretty good eye at figuring out which ones with 8 and 9, because I've seen a metric ton of them in PSA cases. Back's pretty far off. That's why I thought it was maybe an 8. But again, boys and girls, focus. Focus. Alright. Come on, there it goes. Again, PSA didn't think it was even an 8. And our last card, same kind of thing. I wasn't expecting much out of this, but just as a funsy thing. This is a BCCG 10 mint or better. I asked for a 9 on this one. And I thought it was a 9. Excuse me. But apparently, PSA didn't think it was a 9. There's that one little dot there on the left. And minimum grade. I do tend to agree, Craig. So yeah, going through all these, you know, I honestly think PSA just didn't even bother to try to cross them over. They just put minimum grades on all of them because they didn't want to cross them over into their slabs. So I might, because I'm a glutton for punishment, what I might do is crack all these out and send them into PSA for grading. Whenever PSA gets back to doing actual grades at a cheaper level, and see what they grade them at um, on a regular submission. Because I think I honestly think based on what they sent back, and especially on the minis. I mean, I've seen. I mean, I've got 430 PSA 8, 9s, and 10s of the 75 mini set, and I've looked and bought a lot of them over the years to try to work on completing my set. So the minis, I want to say I've got a pretty good eye to know what they'd grade for. Sometimes I might be off, but out of the four that were in here, to be off on all of them, especially cards that were pre-graded, all by SGC. I mean, SGC is not like the GMA. I mean, if we're somehow off on this one, I could maybe understand. But the SGC one's not crossing over to equal grades, especially after looking at them so closely. Is a little suspect to me that PSA just doesn't want to cross over cards at all. It's a little disappointing. Um, this Jake Fister. I don't have very many examples of them, but he's pretty much dead nut center, front and back on both, and the edges are almost all perfect. Um, and I have several of them. So I want to say PSA is part of trying to catch up for anybody who sent in. Now I sent these in late February, so it's taken 6 months to come back to me. It may be part of what PSA is trying to do to catch up is for anybody who submitted crossover stuff, they just aren't even really looking. They're just pumping them out as don't make minimum grades if you put minimum grades, and moving on and taking your money, which I think is very unfortunate for a company that has already pissed off a whole bunch of people with how long it's taken them to get their cards back. And maybe this is what they're trying to do. But I think I will after PSA finally opens their doors, so it'll probably be a year or two by the time I be able to resubmit these. But I'll stick them in a stack somewhere, and I will submit them under the normal service levels when you can submit them for under $50 a piece after I crack them out of the cases and see what happens. Otherwise, that's what I got for you today. Kind of disappointing way to start my weekend, but very interesting experiment here to see what they do for various cards and various grading companies. And at least right now, it looks like PSA is not even bothering with them. They're just kicking it back with minimum grades. So that's going to do it for that portion of the show. I hope everyone else has a good weekend. I'm going to be sorting through some cards to send to CSG, which kind of, I don't want to do it, but I've got enough cards that I need to get graded to resell. So I'm going to be doing that a little bit this afternoon. Yeah, KVS, I tend to agree. I mean, the SGC, especially the more current ones, I mean, this mantle is super surprising to me. The 61s are tough with that all black background. It'd be almost perfect everything. It's a little bit off center, yes. But generally speaking, it's a really nice example. So yeah, I just don't understand. I think I won this from Vintage Breaks at some point in time. I think that's where this came from. But I mean, to get yeah, I just don't understand. The SGC is really surprised that they all came back minimum grades. I think I honestly think that PSA's after this is they just didn't look at them. They just kicked them all back out as soon as they got to the grader. They were just I'm just gonna kick these all back as minimum grade and go home. So we'll see. I'll keep them. Yeah, I'm gonna keep these. These are not all of them for my personal collection. The Griffey and the I've actually since bought a PSA 10 Maddox. So this one, not even for me. I just want to sell it, but I don't want it in a better case. So do the cert numbers on the PSA holders cross-reference to the other company on the PSA site? What do you mean that the number here, this 62 So these won't be in the database on PSA. This is just for their tracking purposes internally. So this, so if you look up this number, let's just see here. I don't know. I've never looked up one of these numbers before. We could find out real quick. Six two one 5212. Yeah, so they don't show up the database, these numbers. These are just their internal tracking. This would be the certain number if it came through and came out, but it's just how they track the cards, what's their internal for them. But anyhow, if anybody else has any other questions, I'll be happy to answer and hang out with you guys. But otherwise, I'm gonna go lick my wounds. Maybe I could do some other stuff. But yeah, so based on this experiment, I would not recommend sending in your cards to get crossovered in the holders for other manufacturers. Go ahead and learn from Sammy and his expert extraction techniques that he's demonstrated on vintagebreaks.com, and go ahead and take him out and send them in raw if you're really confident they'll come back the grade you want it, because it's obvious that PSA is not doing a good job at reviewing cards and reholder them if they're coming in from a different manufacturer. It's very disappointing. With that, I'm gonna go do some other stuff around the house today. You guys can probably catch me in the chat a little bit this afternoon on Gilmore's channel. And you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. Be nice to each other. Wear your mask. Let's get through this COVID situation. And I'll catch you on the Monday night show where we'll be doing bingo on Vintage Breaks West. Have a good weekend, guys.